It's Guy Greco with Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union.
Guy Greco.
Guy Greco.
Guy Greco. Okay, thank
The
you.
witness protection
Yeah,
program.
right.
Okay.
Now I'm going to have to
Steve
they're
Guy,
gonna relocate me.
I think he was a punter for the Oakland Raiders.
No.
No, that was Buddy. No, Buddy Guy was
Buddy Guy's a guitar player.
Right.
Ray Guy.
Ray Guy.
Is that right?
Punter, left-footed punter for the yes, absolutely, folks.
Left-footed.
What did I say?
Left-footed.
Left hooked? Yeah, no.
Are you left-footed if you're left-handed? Is that
I
the way
think
that
so.
works?
I think so. I think
you
that's
made
how
that
that. I think it's.
I know you're in the medical industry, but I think you made that up.
You may
right
have
on the
thought
spot.
that you have sunk into some rabbit hole, but you are listening to Thunder Thursday. It's Thunder Thursday.
It is, and
Can you
I
believe
would
it?
love to be that excited about it. I mean, I'm happy to be here and all. Don't get me wrong, but that was really
That was not bad. That,
That
was
was-
my
yeah.
little gravelly. Yeah, it's okay. It's I keep that way low down.
well.
in a
You
way.
save up for it. because
Save
you were
up
comatose.
a whole week.
It's a
Until
take
the
back
light
for
came
what,
on, you were
just in
comatose.
case Scott's listening.
Yeah, right,
You know.
exactly. But I didn't do the flash and the zoom and the boom and the
Yeah,
all that
you
stuff.
didn't.
We didn't do that.
That's all right. You saved.
But
you did
one
that
of
nice
the
little-
Thunder Thursday co-hosts, Valerie Harold Dwyer, she continues the tradition of flash and boom in Scott's honor. So, there you
was
go.
it in Scott's honor?
Well, I think
was
she likes to
unaware.
say flash. I say
was
flash.
unaware
she
it
says
was a
boom.
memorial.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I would now. Who was he? Boom.
He was boom. I was flash.
I thought
What's
perhaps-
Scout's honor?
Scott's honor.
I thought perhaps you were promoted when Scott went to Florida and took
yeah.
over Flash, which you coveted all these years.
Right. I have to say that, yeah, we do miss Scott, and he's out there fishing for minnows or guppies or I don't know what the hell
Well,
he's doing.
you know, before I talk about my credit union,
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
I want to tell you a Scott story that I've never told before.
Tell away, man. This is
Well,
compelling radio.
He was, you know, as he is likely to. He was helping me
Okay.
when people wouldn't. I was knocking down a wall mass. I was demoing
Right.
a wall. Now I knew it wasn't a load-bearing
Right.
wall, but there were still some surprises. There were some electric lines in there I didn't figure on.
Maybe some cash.
A duct.
Maybe
There was a duct,
maybe
so that had to be
a
redone.
dead body.
But well, it's funny you say that. The duct work and the wiring were not the surprise. The surprise were there's some bones there.
Oh.
Now, because of that, luckily it was Scott helping me. He said, these look like they could be human bones.
No way.
Now,
This is-
I wouldn't have thought anything of it, but he called the authorities. Sure enough, the medical examiner had to come. They wouldn't
Wow.
let me work on it anymore, put some tape around it. The medical examiner removed the remains and
Right.
then sent them to be tested.
Okay.
And when the DNA test came back, we were shocked to find that it was the Hudson Valley Hide and Go Seek champion from 1940. Still holds the title, if I'm not mistaken.
Gone but not forgotten.
Rich. That
right.
is rich.
It's good to have you back. I mean, you know, I know things
to
have
be
been,
back.
you know, moving, and plus we have Dan the Man Gatus with us today.
We are a rocking crew today.
Lawrence is up, you know, swishing and swooping
What is
down
he
the
doing?
mountain. I
He's
think
skiing.
He's skiing. Yeah, he's skiing in parts unknown, out of state. I can't divulge the location.
Now,
You know?
underneath your scarves and
Undisclosed
face gear,
Yes,
underneath your scarves and face gear, do
Yeah.
you think he's wearing a mask as well?
I would. Well, he's probably. I don't know if he's a helmet guy or not. I thought he told me he is not a helmet guy, which is probably not the greatest idea. But
Why? Most people are wearing helmets now when they ski?
it's like 99% of people. I haven't. You know, I've been out only twice this year, but every person on the mountain I see has a helmet on. I mean, it's, you know, for safety for one. But if you're
Yeah.
going faster than, I think the number is 12 or 15 miles an hour, it doesn't work anyway. But if you're going
Can
slower
you
than
go down the mountain slower than that?
that, yeah, little bunny hill you can. Yeah. Yeah,
Ah, I
it's
see.
it's scary going fast. I mean, to me on ski, people love going fast on skis. I don't, but
Yeah, I have a good
you
friend
know,
that's
yeah,
a
'cause-
lot of my friends ski. So I want to ask you something that's been
Yeah.
intriguing me.
yeah,
So, as people can tell, because there's a camera here, I keep forgetting that.
right.
I put the hat on to disguise the point on my head, and I've failed miserably.
That's like Dan
So
Aykroyd.
you know,
What was the
you've
character?
gone through well, and it shows. You've gone through pains to keep yourself young looking,
And it shows.
Keep
Oh,
yourself
I-
young looking and fit. I
Yeah.
mean, all the things you go through, the hair dye, all that stuff.
Right, it's hard. I mean,
So when you
the
go
body
place-
sculpting,
when you go places-
fat removal,
That's right. The
liposuction,
all
just
that.
stick a little.
And I
tube.
know it's paid off in some ways, but I'm wondering when you ski and all, do you have a hard time convincing them that you're entitled to the senior discount?
Exactly.
Is that the downside of all of this?
They just look at the gray in the beard and say, you've earned this, and so here you go. But actually, the discount is slight and it's better when you get to 70, and I'm not there yet. But I'm eligible for my vaccine now, so because I'm over 65.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm not there yet.
Yeah, it's all right. It's good.
I'll never see the 70-year-olds discount.
No, you don't think so?
No, I don't ski,
Oh, yeah.
so I'll miss that.
So tell listeners what's going on at the Mid-Hudson Valley
Hudson Valley
Federal Credit Union. Yes.
An
Great
equal
place.
housing lender.
Right. And also an underwriter and sponsor of our
glad-
great station here.
MHVFCU, Mid-Hudson
And we're
Valley
glad-
Federal
we're
Credit
glad-
Union,
we're glad to do
1099
it.
Morton Boulevard in Kingston.
That's excellent.
Guy's got silk.
And you have to now. If Dan, with that voice, you have to throw in an equal housing lender.
Member FDIC.
Oh,
So,
man.
yeah. Besides everything that's going on with the PPP loans
Which is a what? Paycheck protection
program, yes.
program? Okay. Just so people know.
Why did you?
Well,
you're gonna
because
stump me.
I was going to stump you. You look shocked
I
at
did.
the
I've
beginning.
been cultivating
like a deer
that
in the
look.
headlights.
Yeah, I've
very,
been cultivating
very,
that look. Goes with the hat.
By the way, we about 6 months ago now, we did hit a deer in the headlights between Ellenville and Liberty. We came up over a crest of a hill. And this is not one of the Guy Greco, the hide and go seek champ. This is actually a deer in our lane. We're in the lane. I was driving 2-laner, Route 52, I think it is. Horrible. And there stands like a big deer. I was going to say another curse word, but I can't on the radio, staring at us as the lights approached. And what did I do? I hit the brakes, which normally you would do.
And then you hit
I
the deer.
swerved left. The deer faked left and went right back into the car. And I'm saying, you should try out for the Giants because the Giants they need a receiver who could fake left and go right. That's what this deer did, and it smacked the fender, and boom. We were fine, and the car was not fine. But
Well,
and we didn't find a deer.
And that explains your new car. Is that it?
Yeah, explains. No, that was on Leanne's vehicle, her Tiguan. She was traumatized because she had never in her life hit a deer, or the deer deer hit us. That's officer.
I was just thinking, this story sounds so rehearsed.
Does that deer
I would've
have no
sworn
fault
you were
insurance or
driving.
what?
Right. The deer was.
You didn't say the time. I was in Route 52. I was heading south. You
Right.
skipped the time.
The
It's
deer
like
hit us,
listening to
officer.
Joe Friday describe the scene.
Right.
The skid marks for the deer.
Skid
that's
marks.
it.
Right.
Well, you would have skid marks too if a car was coming through that fast.
We did. No, I can't say the two words you say as soon as you see the deer and the deer's not moving and you're doing, we were doing probably 60.
2 words or hold this.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, no, both were curse words or something. Combination of curse words. Anyway, Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit
I was
Union,
going to ask what the deer had to do with my credit
EPP.
union.
I don't know. You had the deer in the headlights look.
Oh, that's
So,
right.
that's how
Good
it happened.
tie-in.
Yeah, yeah.
Good
So
memory. That was a good 3 minutes ago.
Did you say the deer actually ran away?
the deer did run away after
Oh,
it hit the car.
yeah.
It just glanced off. It was a big deer.
Well, did your airbags, all that stuff?
Negative. Which just
Well,
it was a glance.
Is that right?
Cat-like reflexes helped.
You said your wife was driving before you start giving yourself
I was
some
actually
props
driving.
here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, it was
Leanne, he's trying to take credit for your driving. When the deer got hit, your name was prominent in the story.
I think she's got both eyes closed at this point, but she
I would
might have
imagine.
one eye open.
So Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit,
Yeah.
PPP loans are the loans that are going through the SBA,
Which
Small
is?
Business Administration
Bing, bang, boom.
of the federal government. And they are, I'm sure everybody knows what they are. It's the second round that they've had these loans. They are loans that are forgivable loans. Of course, you treat them like a loan until they're actually forgiven. And they are specifically designed to help people mitigate businesses, mitigate the damage done by COVID by way of reimbursing payroll.
Right. And some other assorted.
Yes, and some very specific expenses.
Right.
If you haven't applied, even if you haven't applied the first time, even though it's a second draw, it's open to apply for the first draw,
Right.
even now. So it's something worth doing.
And there's some criteria your business would have to meet going
There
back
is.
into 2020, right? In terms
There
of,
is, but if it's the second draw and you go, and I can't speak for other financial institutions,
Right.
but if you've had your first draw with us,
Right.
we have a lot of the material that we need
Right, so
for
it's easy.
documentation. So you just pretty much have to show us a decrease of 25% in revenue,
Right.
comparing one quarter of 2019 with same quarter of 2020. That'll make you eligible, and then we'll require a very small amount of documentation, and you're off.
That's good. Yeah,
Now,
that's.
we have big news. We are opening a branch in Peekskill, New York,
Wow.
which is quite a...
That's a nice place. I mean,
It
I
is.
grew up in Fishkill, so Peekskill is right down the pike from Fishkill.
Pike, a fish
Right, a
term
pike, a
from
pike.
Fishkill. Nice, very nice, very nice.
Know it well. I mean, I don't know it well, but I do know it. It was maybe 15 miles south of Fishkill. Yeah,
Is that all it is?
it.
15 miles south?
that's it.
Well, the
15,
commute
20
would be
max,
shorter than
maybe.
I thought. Not at all.
It's
Not
a bit,
that
I
I'll
mean,
be
Route
there.
9 is a rough road. It's a two-laner, and you get behind a truck and you're there forever. But
Or a deer.
not that far.
But you
Deer
have cat-like
deer.
reflexes to get around that truck.
Right. So you're opening a branch in Peekskill. That's a
We
big
are.
deal.
It is a big deal, along with our other branches.
Yeah. Well, where might they be
I know
located,
it.
Guy? I mean,
All right. I'm going to tell you where they're located. Of course, on Morton Boulevard, right here.
Right, that's
and
the
also,
mothership. That's
that
the
is what we call
worldwide
CUC,
headquarters.
Credit Union Center. We have a branch right here on Hurley Avenue. One in Port Ewan, right on
Right.
Broadway. Saugerties, of course, on 9W.
Saugerties.
One in Red Hook. One in Rhinebeck.
Well,
We're going to have one in Peekskill. We're very
Peekskill,
excited
right.
about it.
Right.
We have Middletown. We have Newburgh. We're
Now, that's Westchester County, correct?
yes.
Peekskill?
Yeah.
That's a big county.
It is a big county. It is a big county, and I am told where
a
our
lot of
branch.
humans there.
There's a lot of humans there, and Peekskill is kind of near. Well, it's not far from Putnam County as
Right.
well. It's pretty close.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's it's a funny thing that in the middle of a pandemic, mortgages are
Skyrocketing,
We've
right?
never seen anything like it. I mean, part of it, of course, is the interest rates.
Our
Less than
historic
3%.
lows.
Less than 3% for a house.
Ridiculous. That's just ridiculous.
It is, but I thought it was, and I don't know if it is or it isn't, but my feeling at the beginning was this was nationwide, but it may be just the Northeast that's this saturated, but I don't know. I'll have to find
Yeah, I
out.
don't know.
Because I think there was already a trend of people coming up here, almost exclusively from Brooklyn.
NYC, yeah.
but
Oh, Brooklyn.
Very specifically
Yeah.
Brooklyn. I don't
Yeah.
know why there's so many. Maybe it's coincidental, but I think COVID sped that up. I think exponentially people are getting out of
Yeah,
the city
absolutely.
more.
I
than
think it
they
was
were
happening before.
Yeah,
But then
this
it
has really
just
sped it
went
up.
crazy. And my son, Michael, who grew up in Highland, went to college in Boston, settled, wound up getting a job in New York City, but first Boston, then New York City. And he lived in Brooklyn. And so a lot of the upstate kids, I think if they went down to the city, because Manhattan was so expensive, not that Brooklyn is any piece of cake, by the way.
Well, depending, yeah, it's
just,
changed.
No,
Well,
it's
Brooklyn's-
changed, and it's depending on where, but still, I mean, so he would hang out with a bunch of kids from Highland who lived in Brooklyn. They'd go out. That's the way it was. Go making new friends. Yeah, no, we're going to hang out with Jamal
Well, that's the thing. If
Ricky
you
and blah,
if
blah,
you
blah.
went to Brooklyn and wanted to hang out with nothing but Latvian friends, you could do that too.
That's right.
For sure. Yeah, Brighton
so-
Brighton Beach.
Yeah, so I
there you
think
go.
so.
Right
yeah,
in Coney Island, which is then everybody comes.
Yeah, so the other part of this is not only new mortgages, right? Because the housing market is kind of crazy right now, but it's
It is.
refinances, right? I mean,
Refis too.
if you got
I don't know. It's a very small
4 or
sample. The
5%
last few weeks,
mortgage?
I'm not get. Yeah, I'm not get. Yes, that's right.
right,
That's
you got a 4 or 5, which is not unusual. 4.5%, 5%
not.
mortgages. Everybody thought that was a really good number, and until the 2.5% for 15 years pops up, and you're saying, "Geez, cut down
That's
enough
right.
amount of time. Have
That's
to
it, and that's
repay and
that's right. You cut
so
down the
maybe
amount of time. Is a
$100
big
more a
deal.
month, or something like that, whatever. So yeah, I don't know.
And besides the mortgages and the PPP loans, and here's what I think people are not cognizant of it, and that is we're open for business loans as well. If you don't qualify for
Right.
any reason for a PPP loan, that doesn't mean you can't get a loan through our business lending department, John Dwyer. I wanted to
Good
throw
guy.
his name in, not
Yeah.
that he's awake or listening.
Yeah, right.
He's
right.
neither.
We get it.
I'm
But
sure.
but
Well, he
these,
might be
these
awake. He
shows
might be
are
at work.
recorded.
He might be at work.
And you could make a bar bet, which are impossible to make now. You can't make
possible
a bar
to collect on.
bet. Impossible to collect on. And you could say, John, I mentioned your name, and well, how would I know that? You can go on YouTube.
I'll tell him I mentioned his name like a mantra, but if he can check it, then if he can check it, I guess I'll have to calm that down.
That's the mantra, John Dwyer. Is there usually a little bit more to a mantra than just 2 words?
Well, it's
No?
the words that you use to describe the deer that you wouldn't say out loud. Probably
We're
something
recording, so be
similar.
careful.
We are recording. Of course we're recording.
Something
So
similar.
John's going to have to do that. But no, with the advent of, is it advent? With
I was so impressed. I was so impressed.
of Google.
Waiting to see if you used it correctly, but I was so impressed.
No, of the internet and Google, and you have your little computers in your hand. You could just Google.
You've always had your
blah
hand.
blah blah. Here's a bar bet I want to make with you, and do you think this happened versus this happened, or what was the date of this happening, or what was the name of the guy who played second base?
It's ruined. It's ruined bar bets.
Ruined
Absolutely.
bar bets.
Now I'll tell you. Years ago, I owned a bar in Rosendale,
Right.
and I remember one of the bar bets. 2 what I called old timers, both younger than I am now,
Right.
by far.
Right.
Were having a argument about B-52s, were they jets or were they props?
Oh, nice.
So we asked somebody that came in that
Right.
happened to be in the Air Force, and they said, "I don't know. Who knows that?"
What Air Force was he in?
So we called. They had me. I don't know if one of them or they had me call the Pentagon. First we called the local recruiters that used to be up
Oh yeah,
in
forget that.
Kings Mall.
Those are probably Army guys. They don't know
and
a,
they said,
a plane from a bazooka.
They said, I don't know. I'm 18. I just
yeah,
started."
right.
So
That's hilarious.
So the bet went on.
Yeah.
Someone went to Fan's department store, which was then in Rosendale,
What a model.
bought a model, brought it back. And the guy that had lost said, "I'm not going by that Fan's model." The worst part about it was I got calls from that recruiter for like 6 months asking me if I wanted to
Right.
join the service.
Right. Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy. Speaking about bars, let's talk about live music, because that is still in hiatus, man. I know that's depressing for you, and
It's unbelievable.
I know I'm surprised you're not, haven't cut a finger off or something at this point. I don't know.
No.
But you need those to play, I guess.
No,
right?
I'm
you
funny
need 'em.
about my
and file your nails. I mean, that's
I do.
important.
I didn't today, but I don't have
but,
to now.
But so
because
what's
I'm
your?
not-
I mean, let's look on the optimistic side. More people are getting vaccinated. There's certainly people that have had COVID and maybe have built up some antibodies.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think that's the around.
What do you
here.
think is the
determining
deterrent?
factor?
Okay.
Determining factor around here for it opening up is spring,
Warm weather.
warm weather, because now these places can host bands outside.
Right.
But here's
Right, right.
the conundrum.
That's a big word for
want-
you, by the way. A conundrum.
Well, since the advent of the dictionary,
How many
apparently I've
letters are in
reached C's.
conundrum?
I've reached C's in the dictionary. So here it is. You want to hire a band to attract a big crowd.
Right.
Do you
Yeah, that's the
you
reason.
want a big crowd? Are people going to be comfortable being shoulder to shoulder, even if they've had a vaccination?
Why wouldn't they with the vaccination? I guess I get
right.
that. I
We'll
mean,
see.
what's the point of the vaccination if there's not a comfort level with
Because
walking
the-
around? I know,
Yeah.
they'll probably still have to wear, the masks, I guess, but I don't understand why we're vaccinating the whole freaking planet. Well, we're not doing that yet, but
And we're going to need to.
we're going
You're
to need
talking
to. I
about
get that.
You're
but what's
talking
the-
about Brooklyn, where you're going to run
So
into
you
someone
take-
from Latvia. They may or may
Look,
not
I
have a
guess-
vaccine program in Latvia.
I get the answer, but I
don't mean to
I've
pick
taken-
on Latvia.
No, Latvia is a good place.
Is
People
it a-
get the flu shot, for a reason, or people get the polio vaccine or whatever
There
the
you go.
hell else vaccine there's been in the planet over the centuries, for the thought of a little bit more freedom. And so if this vaccine is supposed to be, I don't know, 95% effective or some 90% effective.
One of them, yeah.
Why wouldn't you go out and do some stuff after you get it? Is there an answer to that?
Yeah, you
Why?
can still carry.
That's right.
You can
You
carry.
can still
not sure
carry.
yet.
So,
Okay.
I mean, if you can consider this situation where you do have the vaccination and you're protected personally,
Right.
but you are actually with somebody who is infected, you can carry it
Right.
to another person.
Right. Assuming that person hasn't been
But
vaccinated.
you hadn't gotten it. Yes, that's
or
right.
assuming that person hasn't had it and maybe built up some immunities and in their system. So I think
So there are levels that we're going to have
Yeah,
to.
I mean, look,
we're going to have to
I mean,
titrate
even
out.
Yeah.
You know,
Even
it's
at
going to
9.
take another year or two. I mean, I guess I don't
Well,
know.
yeah, I mean,
22 is
you
probably
were in the
gonna-
medical industry for a
Yeah,
long time.
yeah.
You know, some people are very, I don't know, they're adverse to getting the shot. For
No, I
whatever.
get it. There's an anti-vax, sentiment out there for sure, and it is what it is. I mean, when I worked in healthcare, ran nursing homes, I had to take the vaccine. That was state law, and I always took it first to show the staff
What
that
vaccine are you talking about?
the flu vaccine, the annual
Right.
flu vaccine.
Okay.
Oh, the distemper vaccine.
Yeah.
Which is the one that I.
Well, you know,
You didn't get
wanna
that,
bring
did
I
this
didn't get.
up.
I passed
I
on
didn't
the
wanna bring
distemper.
this up,
I wanted it to
but
be
the-
gnarly. I wanted to be like.
The last time you mentioned distemper. The last time I saw you, you were not very kind to me. I don't know if you remember. I had asked you a simple question and about the
can't
Italian
remember.
Americans.
Yeah.
A simple question,
And it
and you
turned
got very
nasty.
upset.
It turned-
You said that you were a Roman and man was part of that.
Right.
And I said, what does
not ro
what does
woman.
Calabrese mean, which is what my
Right.
ancestors? And you said it means shut up and get me another drink. Now, I tried to explain to you could only have
Does
one.
mean hard-headed, actually.
I tried to explain to you that you could only have one drink, as did the people in the pew in front of us.
Oh man, don't you miss Guy, Steve, Buddy?
yeah, exactly. All of them. He's playing all three.
He's like Sybil, only the male version of Sybil.
I used to hear voices, but they're gone now. Over.
It's now Dribble, not Sybil.
Now there you go. That was
that was
quick.
That was
and
quick.
clever.
Okay.
I think that would be good for Thunder Thursday.
Oh man,
Woman dribble.
that sounds like a nursing home too. but
Woman drool.
Let's not go there. I don't know. Well, it's
So-
good. It's great to have you back, partner. It really is.
to be back.
And I can't wait to see you plucking those strings as on the stage, man, and singing Mustang Sally. Or didn't you sing
seemed-
Mustang? Is that one of your songs? Not Mustang Sally.
Well, I mean, at one time, everybody's played Mustang. The rite of passage.
Right.
I would play it again,
Yeah.
Wipe out.
especially the Wilson
Wipe out.
Pickett version.
Yeah. That's the
what you wanna
best.
do.
But no, optimistically and seriously, summertime music. Maybe it's down at Mariners on the
Yeah.
on,
And there's,
on the Strand there with
plenty
the
of
wind
places.
blowing and
Plenty of places. Hopefully, there's pent up demand. Right? People are dying to go out and hear some music.
I think so.
Now, here's probably a lot of people don't think about this. I was in 2 bands when the pandemic hit.
Right.
One I played very, very regular, pretty much weekly, which was the B-Boys, and then the other one was Exit 19, which we played sparsely. The B-Boys is a 7-piece band, plus Sherry did sound, so there's 8 of us because she had to run all that stuff. There is no way during a pandemic you're getting 8 people in a small room to rehearse. Not happening.
Yeah.
Just not
How
happening.
about if it's a big room? How about if you could
Even a big,
spread out
we
a little
had
bit?
we have a big. The famous Peter Martin has a big room in a studio. I'm not allowed to give the address now, of course. But he bought a lot of property just outside of town, and he has a very big recording and rehearsal studio.
Yeah.
I would do it, but to get 7 people that in the same band that are like-minded on that,
No, I
especially
get it.
horn players who are, by definition,
wind.
blowing out for all their work.
Right, I
you
get
know.
it. No, I get it. I mean, look, it's again. I think I was talking to somebody, a friend of mine in Indianapolis yesterday, and she was saying that the vaccination threshold down there is, or over there, is 55 now. So that's, Indianapolis, a little
See,
smaller state, but they've dropped.
lower
they've
population for
dropped
sure.
the population.
Well,
the
I
age
can't.
for
I
vets.
cannot for the life of me figure out what the prerequisites for this are, and I'll tell you why. My wife Alma is a cancer. She'll kill me for saying, but my wife Alma is a cancer survivor, and
Right.
she had her thyroid taken out, which means
Gotcha.
she has zero immune system.
Yeah.
She also has rheumatoid arthritis, and her doctor told her she wasn't eligible until she was, I think he said 75. No, and this is no joke. And this is
75 for the vaccine. Well, no, when she turned 65, but I mean, I would think at some level they're
I
gonna.
thought those conditions, if you like,
Yeah.
I have, I'm diabetic and I have
Right,
bad
what we
heart.
call comorbidities in the biz, right?
Morbidity, nice.
Right. So
it's
so-
not like
but
co-host.
they
You're
started-
not the
no, it's
morbidity,
not
and I'm the
co-
comorbidity.
Right, yeah,
Okay.
I always thought that why would they put the word morbid in something that's
Something that's so
Only a
joyful.
sickness, yeah.
Something that's so joyful that cuts your lifespan down.
Yeah, but I think the push now is to get the over 65ers done, and then drop
I
down
know
to the next big class.
I know so many people that are getting that vaccine that are
I know.
health challenged and younger than I am. Is
All right,
it a matter of Pope? know?
That's to be answered. We'll ask Elliot Auerbach in the next half hour.
Oh, I'm not.
We're going to go to break. Dan, thank you. Take us away.
Thank you, Tony Marmo and Guy Greco. Thank you so much for bringing us this first quarter of Thunder Thursday. And you're listening to Kingston Community Radio, AM 920 and 92.5 FM. My name is Dan Gatus, and it is Thursday, March 4th, 37 degrees here in uptown Kingston. And mid-Hudson Valley weather and forecast for the next 3 days. Today is cloudy early, then mostly sunny this afternoon. A few flurries possible. High of 39 in the morning, then dropping into the low 30s later. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 18. Friday, some clouds in the morning, then mainly sunny for the rest of the day, a high of 33. Friday night, partly cloudy, a low of 21. And Saturday, partly cloudy, a high of 31. Saturday night, a few clouds, a low of 19. And we'll be right back.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM. And also online at mykcr.org.
The Home Energy Assistance Program can help make winter a little warmer this season, with financial grants to eligible households to help pay heating or utility bills. Are you in need of assistance or know someone who is? Find out more about the benefits and eligibility requirements of the HEAP program by contacting your County Department of Social Services or by visiting the Assistance Program section of Central Hudson's website, centralhudson.com.
As the world faces the challenges of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, Lions recognize that kindness matters now more than ever. And Lions and Leos are finding ways to continue to serve our communities. For more than 100 years, in times of need, Lions always find a way to help those around them. And after we emerge from this, we will be stronger than ever. Visit lionsclubs.org to learn more.
Hi, this is Scott Harrington from Hurley, and I support Kingston Community Radio because the people need a place to have their voice heard, and it's lost in corporate radio, so please keep listening and supporting our station.
And we're back. You're listening to Kingston Community Radio, AM 920 and 92.5 FM. 7:33 a.m., 37 degrees on this Thursday, March 4th. This upcoming portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union, main office, 1099 Morton Boulevard in Kingston. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. And let's get back to the on-air studio with Tony Marmo and Guy Greco.
That's all, folks.
Listen,
all right, folks.
I understand why he's confused. He thought it was the big bad wolf at the door because you made me take the stairs.
He was huffing and puffing
I
going
was.
up the stairs. Hit the button. No, don't hit the button. Take the 15 stairs.
An elevator and a button.
Folks,
right
you're
there.
listening to Guy Greco. You might think that you're listening to some other On the Moon show, but this is Thunder Thursday, and I'm Tony Marmo.
And I'm Dribble.
And And we have our guest, our first Thursday of the month guest at 7:30, the Deputy Comptroller of Arizona. That would be Elliot.
The inimitable.
Elliot, good morning.
Good morning. I like the relocation to Arizona. There's probably no snow out there.
Well, I'm sure you would be just as effective out there as you are in New York State, which is
Thank you. Thank you.
You know,
I was concerned though when I saw that Guy was co-hosting with you. I quickly checked to make sure that I paid off my Mid-Hudson Valley Credit Union truck loan. I didn't want to be embarrassed on air by saying that I had any late payments.
Right, he's like Luca Brasi.
I'm not in the collections department.
He's got a guy. He's got his Fender hat on. You know, he's by night he's a musician when he can do that, and by day he helps people get loans and mortgages and so forth.
But enough about me.
That's a wonderful way to approach the world. You know, with a little song in your heart, Guy. So I like that.
Yeah.
That's thank you for that. That's I'll be using that like I coined it myself.
So
I do recall that you sat in there, I think, in the fall with Scott Harrington and had a wonderful time on the air while Tony was somewhere off.
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah, jet setting somewhere.
I think Scott had said you were in a drunken stupor.
Drunken stupor. Is that next to Rio? I'm just curious. Oh man. Anyway, Elliot, what's going on? How are you? And give us some good news, man.
Well, you know, as I'm sure you're both aware, there has been no news coming out of Albany lately. It's been a very quiet city there.
Well, there's been news, but it's not probably productive
We're
news.
not going to talk about that news.
Nothing's been happening. But no, quite honestly, there's a budget looming over everyone's head, and some major concerns throughout the state as to how local governments are going to be impacted. And that's really, my area. I have 500 plus villages and 900 towns, 700 school districts, all of the fire districts, justice courts, libraries, IDAs, LDCs, you name it, and
LMNOPs,
and we work with them. So each one of those stakeholders, quite honestly, are sitting on the edge of their seat right now to see what's going to come out of Albany. So, you know, add on top of that the national picture and the stimulus package that's being queued up in Washington, and the local governments are, like I said, are really sitting on the edge of their seat. So we're hopeful. You know, the good news is the Comptroller DiNapoli, this past week talked about the health of the state, and yes, there are some challenges that still remain, and some pandemic revenue losses that have been felt. But, you know, the picture in a lot of places aren't as bad as expected. I know yesterday or the day before, the Nassau County executive announced that she actually has a surplus this year.
Wow.
And some of it comes to belt tightening, you know, and restraint. But we're also seeing, and this is really interesting, from a revenue generator, from a sales tax generator, a dramatic increase in internet sales, and you know, we call them Nexus and marketplace sales, and that's something that the state did not do 3 or 4 years ago. They did not diligently collect sales tax on these internet sales, and this is the first year. I think we have a full year under our belt of collection, and it's been quite interesting to see the numbers, and it's been a huge benefit for local governments.
Yeah, what a perfect timing to institute that. Really is.
Yeah. So you know, the governor though, and the budget office have held back monies to local governments to the tune of about 20%, and that has, you know, been a dramatic impact on them. But with this increase in revenue, it has not been, or it appears not to be as bad. We'll see, though. A lot of small governments are busy with budgets right now. Some are already into the budget year if they're a calendar year government. Some are, a June 1st calendar year government. So it's interesting to look across the state, and of course we live in the Hudson Valley, and we have a huge impact on us from the metropolitan area. But when you travel further up into the Western New York or Central New York area, it's a whole different world.
Yeah, for sure. Elliot, what about the stimulus package? And I thought I saw some big numbers for states and possibly trickle down to towns once the state gets it. Is that? I mean, I think it looks like it's going to pass. Who knows what's going to happen when it gets to the Senate? But hopefully, it won't be, stripped out. And because I think the states need this relief. No?
Oh, no question about it. So we've got some preliminary numbers. We've been working with Senator Schumer's office to see exactly what those numbers are and how they're going to be distributed. It's pretty impressive in the sense that there are millions and millions and millions of dollars that are going to find their way to local governments. It's going to be counties first, and I'll give you an example. In Ulster County, a good portion of that money, 50% of the federal stimulus money will go to the county, but the other 50% of it will be spread out amongst the 20 towns, the 3 villages, and the city of Kingston. So, without having any concrete figures, but let's use the number of $80 million, for example. So out of that $80 million, $40 million of it would find its way to the county for relief, and the other $40 million would be equitably spread out amongst the 20 towns, 3 villages, and the city.
Yeah, so
and we're seeing that all across the state. And it's interesting, in some counties who have large cities, some of the cities will receive more money than the counties based on the density and concentration of population.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Based on, census tract, based on congressional research, there's a number of factors that are going in on this, and I think that's what's all being tweaked behind the scenes right now.
Yeah.
And so, while we are totally focused on New York, I mean, imagine the lift that's going on, because this is going to happen countrywide. It's going to be a national federal stimulus package. So they're looking across the country. It's very interesting.
Yeah, then the timing, as we said, is tough.
The expectation is that, I'm actually asking, Elliot, is the expectation now that the weather breaks and with the vaccine and all, that tax revenue from local businesses rather than just the internet will increase? And, I mean, do we know how many businesses won't be there when spring comes?
Well, Guy, you're hitting the nail on the head, and I think that's where this stimulus money can be placed and used so that, for example, in counties, they can help those small businesses who may be struggling and filter money to them in some way, shape, or form. I mean, you've seen what's happening locally with our county executive, Pat Ryan, and what he's doing. I think that his ability to help families out right now, it's the same thing that's going to be needed for small business as well. Yeah. We're going to need to provide aid to them, some special emergency appropriations for them, with very little expectation right now, with the exception of getting them back on their feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, look, I mean, who better sees it, Guy, than somebody who's in the finance world and sees what the challenges that your customers are being faced with. I mean, it's tough out there. There are people that are struggling. There are businesses that are struggling, and they're playing the hand that they're dealt in the best way that they can. But some of them can't rebound, and without some sort of stimulus or federal help pass through the state and the counties, many of them will keep their doors closed forever.
Yeah, and that's absolutely true. But I think what's on me personally, what's made the impression, and I'm dealing firsthand with a lot of these PPP loans and people that they're hoping that they get a loan and it's for $4,000. to keep their business afloat. They're one-person business.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, they're small.
What's left the impression on me more than anything else is how hopeful and upbeat these people are. It's really, I guess it's human nature. It's as a species,
absolutely.
but these people are as pleasant as can be on the phone. They don't. I know they're desperate, but they don't sound desperate. They think better days are coming, and they hang in there. And it's
the human nature, I think, right? Hopefully,
it is.
We'll get through this and figure it out. And I mean, there is reason for optimism. I have to tell you, what we see is companies are calling us to fill jobs. I mean, it's not like we're waiting for the phone to ring. We're getting sometimes 2-3 calls a week from companies saying, I needed this or I needed that. Administrative person, a mortgage processor, because that's going off the
process.
hook.
You must have
a temp.
Incredible.
Oh
demand.
yeah, I mean, it's all just
Mortgage
about every
industry in the Northeast is just it's off.
Every
the hook.
financial institution in Kingston has called us saying we need a 2 or 3 month person to help us with mortgage or refis or this or that. The market is crazy. So, I mean, I think there is reason for optimism. It's just getting through this last piece of this thing, and the stimulus bill package is a big deal, Elliot. I mean, that's
absolutely, and that's why Senator Schumer has really taken up the charge to ensure that the money, the intended recipients of the money, it's going to find its path. It's going to find its way. And again, our conversation with the senator's office is how much and how is that money going to get into the hands of local governments who can then be best responsive to the people that live in their area. I mean, that's really it. I'll tell you another thing that we're seeing, and we're doing what we call a COVID case study throughout the state with local governments. We are seeing some amazing work being done by local elected officials who have, again, they didn't sign up for this, as many of them have reminded me. This has been thrown at them, and many of them are not, many of them came into their political office to do something for their community, never realizing that this would be something that they need to do. But I'm going to tell you, it reminds me of when I was a kid reading John F. Kennedy's Profiles of Courage.
Yeah, right.
These elected folks, they stepped up. And a recent study that we did in the Hudson Valley, I think we looked at the city of Peekskill, the town of Cornwall, and the village of New Paltz, and spoke to each one of those leaders there and learned how they are facing the challenge and what they need to do to keep so-called keep the lights on and keep the residents ensured that the services are going to be delivered. It's just is remarkable. So
it is.
Kudos to them. I think that folks don't realize the heavy lift that's being done behind the scenes because those folks are just out there doing it. They're not jumping in front of the camera. They're not grabbing the headlines. They're just out there on a daily basis trying to keep their community moving forward.
It's called leadership, and some folks rise and some folks sink when that challenge comes. And kudos to them for getting it done, because you're right. They probably didn't sign on for this, but they're in it, and they have constituents or the citizens that elected them to say, you know what, step up.
We weren't counting on this either.
Yeah, right. Nobody was counting. By the way, you talked about Peekskill. The Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union is opening up a new branch in Peekskill. And,
look at that segue. Okay.
Right, and maybe you could have the former governor, George Pataki, maybe he'll cut a ribbon or something for you.
That would be wonderful.
Right.
Doesn't he live down there, Elliot? He's down from that neck of the woods, isn't he? Peekskill area?
Yeah, he was the mayor. He was the mayor of Peekskill. When I in my former life, in my former mayor's life, I actually met George Pataki and couldn't believe how tall he was.
Right.
Yeah, he's like basketball player tall.
He stood out in many different areas of his life, but one of them was he was the mayor of the city of Peekskill.
Was it you that was? We won't tell us on the air, but was it you that were telling me a George Pataki story? I can't remember. No. When he was local. No. When he was local.
That's the correct answer, Elliot.
No, when he was. No, he was local in Kingston. And I think it was around the time that he was either governor or running for governor, and so it had to be somebody who's been around for a while.
It's the same answer.
No, it was a very good story.
Wasn't Elliot?
The governor pulled his person
I'm avoiding any governor stories.
That's right. So listen, what was the timetable for you, Elliot? When did you start as the deputy controller? Was just in time for the pandemic? Is that when you got your new role?
Well, it's really funny you say that, Guy. So when the controller called me up, he called me up in March of 2019 and asked me if I would be interested in taking over as the deputy controller for local government and school accountability. It took me about 6 weeks, first of all, to say yes to him. I was in my fourth term as the elected Ulster County controller, and it was a tough decision to leave the county. So I ended up in Albany, starting in Albany in May of 2019, and I often joke with the controller. I said, I was there for 6 months, and then they sent me home. I mean, along with about 1,500 other people. But the pandemic hit, the wave hit, and we really needed to bob and weave and figure out what would be best for the folks that work with us and how best to A, ensure that their safety, but B, keep our work going. So we moved to a very hybrid schedule. Most of my folks, the 300 folks that I work with immediately, are working remotely. They do have options to go into their respective offices. I have offices in Buffalo, Syracuse, Rochester, Binghamton, Newburgh, which is my favorite trip, and Glens Falls and Hopewell, Long Island. So I have folks all over the state, but we've given them the option of working hybrid to ensure their safety and well-being, but like I said, also to keep the workflow going. So
you certainly didn't
I'll be
see
there 2 years. 2 years in May. It's just been an amazing ride.
It sounds like perhaps you didn't see this coming when you rolled into the job in May. It must have crossed your mind that you have the luck of, when my ship comes in, I'll be in the airport.
Well, it's really interesting. Pre-COVID, I would spend 3 days in Albany and then 2 days on the road. I would either, travel to the regional offices. And since COVID hit and since we've gone to this hybrid schedule, my commute has gone from 160 miles round trip a day to down my stairs, through my kitchen, and into my office. It's
and no traffic lights, right? No traffic lights.
I mean, I get out probably once a week right now on the road, but most of most of my other colleagues, we're working remotely. And again, so imagine, I think the operative word for 2021, the pandemic word, is the word pivot. Everybody has pivoted. And they've pivoted well. Kudos to those companies who have had to send people home and then come up with this technology, much like the schools, to keep things flowing. I mean, so we've pivoted as a country. We've showed that we can do remarkable things in a short period of time under the pressure. And now, as we talked about earlier, it's time to look towards whatever return to normalcy there will be, but to ensure that those folks who have struggled through this have the assistance so that they can, too, rebound like the rest of us.
I have an extremely important question to ask you, Deputy Comptroller. How many times have you skied this year?
Oh, my God, I'm embarrassed to say. Once.
He's a busy man.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you,
I took a day off. I had a holiday float day, I call it, and I took a day off. I got to my favorite ski area,
Bel Air,
which is Bel Air. I got there early, and I was amazed at what's happened in the ski industry. You have to buy your ticket online.
You're right.
You have that little what is it? The
card.
RFID card in your pocket,
right.
The electronic card, which is now read by some sort of a device that opens the gate to get you on the chairlift. But I got there early in the morning. It had snowed 10 inches the day before, so the timing was unbelievable. I jumped on the chair, and I probably was skied out since it was my first day.
By 10 o'clock.
It was very, very empty. Probably skied out by about noontime or 12:30.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
It's it's remarkable how even what you just mentioned, how quickly businesses have adapted to that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
pretty
well,
innovative stuff.
And I hadn't been to Bel Air, since the gondola, where the little.
yeah.
Always gotta throw something Italian in.
The Catskill Thunder.
Yeah, and they improved the Discovery Lodge. I mean, they added a big addition down. It looks gorgeous, and they can handle thousands of people. And they had like 15 people on the mountain. No, they had more than that. But because I my first day I went was before the President's Weekend, and so it was crowded. And I left around noon because the lift lines got to be pretty, bigger than I thought. And so, and I was skied out too. I got there 8:30. Skied with Bill Calderera, and we had a great time. And the second time I went with Marty Ruggles, who's a retired BOCES superintendent, right?
Yes.
He's the chair of our YMCA board of Ulster County, and I had a great time. I'm going to go once more, probably up to Wyndham. I think there's a Rotary Club up there, so I'll make a visit and get a half a day in and back to the office. Bing, bang, boom. So
yeah, but I think you touched on it, how quickly the industries have adapted, and I think the ski industry is one of them. I mean, they really had to using that word pivot quickly again. So it's good to see. I mean, I'm excited to see that the Johnson vaccine will be prevalent. I think that will be a game changer.
Yeah.
I'm also glad to see that Ulster County, again, under the leadership of Pat Ryan, has stepped up to try and do the best that they can do to provide vaccine sites and vaccines for people in the county.
He's done a great job.
We're on the road to recovery. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I think so. Right.
And I want to give you kudos, Elliot. You went through 2020, a global pandemic, and you are a well-spoken man. And the first word that comes in your mind to describe it is pivot. This is not on my list of top 50 words I would use. But I think that shows grace under pressure.
I have to tell you, pivot is like one of the
It's accurate.
It's one of the 2020 words that came out, along with "you're on mute." That's the other few.
Right. That's
the other phrase that's come out. You're on mute.
Yeah. I hear you guys. Well, listen, it's been wonderful. I look forward to returning in person. I almost did it today, Tony, but I have a 8:00 Zoom meeting that I have to be in front of the computer on.
Make sure you're not on mute, Elliot.
What's that? Be sure I'm not on mute.
Just make sure you're not on mute, yeah. No, thank you for spending time with us. It's always great. We're looking forward to your next visit, which is going to be the first week in April. Maybe it'll be in person. That would be great. And I think the world is going to be a little bit better by then. Hopefully the stimulus package will be done, and that'll start trickling down to the or coming down in buckets to the state and the counties and the cities that need that relief. And what the hell's a 1.9 trillion? Another trillion here, another trillion there. Pretty soon it's
real money.
Real money.
Yeah, and I just want to leave you with this. Let's not forget the hard work that people are putting in to ensure that we're safe and well.
Absolutely.
I look at the first responders. I look at the folks in the healthcare industry. I look at the government, the elected officials. I mean, there's a lot of people out there who are working hard to make sure that our county and our state and our country maintains its well-being. So hats off to them.
Put this in a rear-view mirror, man. That's what we need to do.
You got it.
All right, brother.
Well,
thank you so much.
Listen,
Be
guys,
well.
I'll leave you. Thanks for having me. Speak to you later.
Thanks,
Elliot. Appreciate it.
What
a great guy, huh?
Yeah.
Amazing. He's doing a great job.
What a tough
always
job.
Upbeat, always like,
I mean, he signed up, he got deputy controller for the state in May.
Yeah.
What he thought his first year was going to be and what it turned out to be had to be.
Yeah. Well, the first 8 months were probably kind of sort of normal, but, starting January, it just went into the dumpster.
Yeah.
All right, and we're going to give a little shout-out blurb to Monencore and Damencore, the Kingston German American organization.
Yeah.
They're a 501c3, tax deductible. They're now in their 153rd year of operations in Kingston.
It's their second pandemic.
They're into the second 100, yeah. So they're doing this is right up your alley, Guy. This is a Bavarian Luncheon takeout. You have to pre-order by Tuesday, March 16th. Let's see. So pickup date is Saturday, March 20th. So pre-order, you're going to get
Sounds fantastic.
noon to 1:30 pickup at Monacore Hall, which is on 37 Greenkill Avenue. And call Terry, who's the chairperson of this. Terry's number is 338-4094. Or the Club Hall. Maybe that'd be better to call. 338-3763. And you know what the menu is? You ready?
I do not. Schnitzel.
Did you eat breakfast?
No, I haven't eaten anything.
Okay. You're going to have Bavarian meatballs. I think they stole that from the Italians, but that's okay. Spätzle. I love spätzle.
Italians don't have Bavarian meatballs.
The Swedish stole them too, the Swedish meatballs. Green beans, amandine. I didn't know those were German, but I guess we're going to go with that. A bakery roll, homemade dessert. But the Bavarian meatballs and spätzle.
Okay, so
it's like gnocchi.
I
Spätzle
would
is
like to say that.
You want to say something?
Well, I did. I would like to say that I don't want you, by saying that about stealing it from the Italians, you are not slurring the entire German race.
No, negative.
But I would say
my wife,
I
Leanne,
don't
is German. I wouldn't slur.
I don't think that you, when you said it's right up my alley, I think that innuendo. I think it was a fat joke in disguise, is what you were doing there. Again, should be beneath you. You're a man of stature.
Okay, maybe you can just have one meatball then instead of two. Plus, so go to Monacore, Domencore, the Bavarian lunch takeout. Call 338-3763. I'm sure it's going to be delicious, and we might do that. I have something. Won't have to cook on Saturday, March 20th.
I gigged there at that hall.
It's great.
No
awesome.
idea what for, but I know I'd play.
All right, we're going to go to break. Come back with John Finch from Ulster Savings Bank.
Thank you, Tony Marmo, and thank you, Guy Greco, and a special thanks to New York State Deputy Comptroller Elliot Auerbach. Thank you so much. And KCR is Kingston Community Radio, WGHQ AM 920 and 92.5 FM, and streaming online at mykcr.org. Today's Thursday, March 4th, 37 degrees here in Uptown Kingston. This last portion of Kingston Community Radio has been brought to you by Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union, many local branches. Main office, 1099 Morton Boulevard in Kingston. And Mid-Hudson Valley weather and forecast for the next 3 days. Today, cloudy early, then mostly sunny this afternoon. A few flurries possible, high of 39 in the morning, and then dropping into the low 30s later today. Tonight, mostly clear, a low down to 18. And Friday, some clouds in the morning, then mainly sunny for the rest of the day. A high of 33. Friday night, partly cloudy, a low of 21. Saturday, partly cloudy, a high up to only 31. And Saturday night, a few clouds, low down to 19. And we'll be right back.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM. And also online at mykcr.org.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can. But it's just as important to take time for yourself. AARP can help. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. Cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Show the world that you're tougher than tough. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Cameron Rylance from Kingston, and I support Kingston Community Radio because it's informative.
And you're with us here at KCR, Kingston Community Radio, WGHQ, AM 920 and 92.5 FM, and also streaming online at mykcr.org. Thursday, March 4th, 37 degrees here in Uptown Kingston. This upcoming portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Rondout Savings Bank, always working for you and our community, with branches in Kingston, West Hurley, and Hyde Park. Also online at rondoutsavings.com, rondoutbank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Now let's get back to the on-air studio with Tony Marmo and Guy Greco and see who our new guest is and see what birthdays we might have today.
We do. Thank you very much. This is Thunder Thursday.
That was great.
That was horrible.
It makes
Tony.
up for me not saying anything.
Much better in person.
Flash. Right. This is Tony Marmo.
And Guy Greco.
Steve, Buddy, Guy Greco. And Dan. And we're joined this half hour by our great friend, great community guy, John Finch. I'm going to say you're vice president at Ulster Savings, but I don't know exactly what that means.
Chief Operating Officer.
Chief Operating Officer. Okay, that's another good title because it's got 3 words instead of
vice president.
Oh, it's 2. Yeah, it's better than vice president.
Absolutely.
Yeah, not 3
That
words.
and
2
the
words.
$1.50 still gets you a small
No, I get
coffee.
it. I get it. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
At least you haven't been moved to the kids' table.
I feel like this is the Italian. When I used to grow up, this is Antonio. Yeah, you don't belong at the big table. You go to the kids' table. That's where I am. All right, so we're going to do birthdays real quick because Dan said we got to do birthdays, and we're going to have. Why don't we have John read?
Oh,
that
I
one?
didn't even get to pre-read it.
You didn't. It's an easy
Do I
one.
need to?
It's really easy.
Okay.
So you want to read who it is?
I'm ready. Today, Thursday, March 4th. Happy birthday to LaShonda Herring.
Okay, and
Friends and family.
And guess what? That's the single birthday that we have. I know I'm. This is hard for me over here. So the winner of the delicious cow pie from Boyce Dairy Milk House, and they've been doing this forever for a KCR and WGHQ. So go there and frequent. It's almost coming to be ice cream season, which is right up your alley. 62 O'Neill Street in Kingston. The winner is. All right. It's LaShonda Herring. Woo-hoo. Okay, LaShonda, go get your delicious cow pie. You need a couple of people to eat a cow pie, though.
We have a cow pie in our freezer, just waiting for
Just
warm
waiting,
weather because you have to really wait for the right time to have
That's
it.
right.
So tell us a little bit. Bill Calderera, I know, is he was actually on a Rotary meeting last night from Timbuktu or 3,
Timbuktu,
wherever
right.
the hell he is.
He's away. I think he travels back today.
Yeah. He's been. I think he was out west somewhere trying to. He's a tremendously good skier. And I was just watching him ski and skiing behind him because
He is a good skier.
He's excellent.
I seem to have friends that are phenomenal skiers, and I've skied for a long time, but I ski like once a year.
Yeah, right.
And
Yeah,
I kind
I'm
of
like,
stop
it's
for
like
about 5
golfing.
years.
It's like golfing.
Right.
You don't
and
do it frequently.
And you go, and these people think that you ski just like they do, and
Yeah.
you watch them.
They
just-
make that assumption,
Oh,
do they?
Zip down.
Follow me?
Yeah.
and they're having fun, and you're just thinking,
Yeah.
I'm going to die here.
And I want before we have a lot of stuff to talk about in this half hour, but one of the things I want to touch on before you get off is I know the Benedictine Health Foundation has a ski day coming up next week.
Correct.
Wanna
I
mention
believe
it
it's
now?
sure. I think it's
Thursday?
the 11th,
Yeah.
Thursday the 11th.
Yeah, it's true.
And if you haven't done it before, it's a fundraiser. It's $150 a person, I think.
Right.
Two for $250. But they rent out Plattekill Mountain.
Yeah, the whole
and-
mountain.
The whole mountain. And when you go, the only people there are people that are part of this. And I think in the past they've gotten 125 people or so. Wow. And it's a really cool day. You get a free lunch.
Right.
It's just kind of a low-key day. And Bernadette Rexford, who is running the foundation, does a great job, and good event.
Great, yeah, and I went on, unfortunately, I can't make it because I have too much stuff going on, in my world, but there's some great pictures on the website from last year, and I saw your smiling face
I was
on there,
there, yeah.
along with a bunch of other folks. Joe Deegan, I know, is very active. In
Elliot
trying to,
has been there in the past. We
Elliot
sat and had
has.
lunch with Elliot
Yep,
the year
yep.
before last, I think.
Yeah, so, but I'm sure the conditions are going to be great, and It's nice because you're going to be inside with masks, I'm sure. Same stuff as any restaurant, right? And you're on the
You
mountain.
said COVID goes away. Right?
Yeah, we know that.
Okay.
Everybody knows that. Everybody
Why
knows
did you
that.
point to me with restaurant? Is that another one you're doing? Another
Thinking
dig at
about
my weight?
No, I was thinking about maybe you could bring your guitar up there and entertain these
That
folks.
wasn't it.
Wasn't it?
I was watching you guys this morning, and you're a great comedy team. He kind of sobered the room up.
Yeah,
with,
he
with,
did.
With
He
his,
did. We had to go straight.
It's one of
We
my
had to go-
favorite people, but when
Yeah.
you start talking about the topics he has to deal with every day, it's
Yeah.
tough.
No.
Yeah, sure. I don't know how that
Yeah.
not overwhelming.
Yeah. No, I mean,
And he was talking about how other people hadn't signed up for it. I don't think that's what he signed up for either.
No, for sure.
Sure
For
enough.
sure. But we're getting through it. So tell us first what's going on at Ulster Savings Bank. How are things going there?
Things are going well. As I mentioned, I was listening earlier, and Guy was talking about the residential mortgages. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
it's easy to speculate about why, and I think some of it are the rates, as you mentioned. But I read an article recently about how this flurry started before the pandemic started of people either refinancing or moving here from Brooklyn or from Manhattan, but it is mostly Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic just made it
Just
and I think,
exponential.
I think the difference now, as opposed to September 11th, right after the bombings in New York City, we had a lot of people that came up here and wanted to be here. But those people seemed to buy second homes and headed back to the city when things calmed down.
Right.
This time, I think the difference is that the businesses are used to having their workforce working from home.
Yeah.
And they're looking and thinking, we could work anywhere. We don't need to, there are people that haven't been in the
Remote
office in a
workers
year.
now, right.
And are doing, the work they were doing before.
You don't want to own commercial real estate in New York City right now if you can avoid it, right? Because it's probably empty. You can make a bowling alley out of it, maybe. Maybe.
Yeah. And that's
or condos.
just like the pandemic that affects individuals differently. Same thing with financial institutions is that ones that were heavily into the commercial lending side, may not be feeling the same thing that the credit union and Ulster have been feeling. But
Yeah, I mean, it's curious. I mean, the rates dropped so dramatically, kind of sort of during the pandemic, it seemed like. I don't know if it was connected, not connected, just coincidental, but rates are probably at pretty historic lows.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, who the hell remembers when they were, I don't know, what a 30-year, but I know I was talking to somebody that's saying, oh my gosh, a 15-year mortgage, like 2.5 something.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
what the hell?
When I got my first mortgage in 1983, I sat on the lawn of a bank next to St. Joseph's Church uptown. There's a little yellow building there that was Empire of America's lending office. And they had Sunny Mae mortgages. Rates were 18%.
Yeah,
but
I remember
they had 11% Sunny Mae mortgages.
Oh, my God.
So there's a line around it.
Well, so on a Sunday night,
11%, yeah.
they opened on Wednesday
Yeah.
morning, and on a Sunday night I rode by, and I see somebody sitting in a lawn chair on front, and I said, can I ask you what you're doing? He goes, yeah, I'm waiting for a mortgage. I said, you mean the mortgages that are coming on Wednesday? He said, yeah. I went home, I packed up my stuff, and I went and slept on the lawn of that bank for 3 days to get an 11% mortgage, and I did.
7% on 30 years is a lot. I'd
Yeah.
sleep on a lawn too.
Oh, I was happy as could be.
So speaking about that, you're a native of Kingston, right?
Yes.
Talk about maybe that a little bit, and we want to give a shout out to Jack Finch, who is your great
My
dad.
dad, who's probably listening.
Good.
Just
Hello,
hit
Jack.
his 93rd birthday and
God bless.
won the cow pie a few
Right,
weeks ago
right.
in January.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, and so
and,
I know your wife Leanne and my dad
Right.
were neighbors,
Neighbors, right.
back in the day, and
Yep.
and so he's a great guy, and he's doing well. The pandemic is hard on everyone because
Yeah.
we would see him a lot more.
He's a very
and
social guy.
Yeah,
and
and while we-
nothing pretty much keeps him down. He's he's out, he's driving, he's talking, he's
he goes to my sister's for lunch. Now, my sister
Yeah.
lives outside of Utica, in New Hartford, New York.
Yeah.
2.5 hours away. So he gets in the car, he drives there, they have lunch, they'll go out, they'll do something, and he'll come home.
back.
That's
And,
great.
and so
It's
he's
good.
Does he like your sister that much more than you?
There's no question about that.
Drive
guy.
2.5 hours.
In fact,
Yeah.
you make a good point. I hadn't thought about that.
Don't think
Yeah,
about it.
think
Now
about
your
it.
father's going to kill me if he
I
sees
live
me.
across town,
And you never have lunch with him.
like the Smothers Brothers, mom like you better.
Right.
You know?
I want you to know
He
I'm
asked
having
your
lunch
dad-
with my dad today.
Yeah,
so,
cool.
So there,
we
guys.
said
Did
hi.
he drive to see you for lunch, or did you have
No,
to
he
go
makes
see
me go
him?
to him now that you're mentioning it.
right.
I do need counseling. You're right. I
could
am
be.
definitely not the favorite.
But thank you
He's
to
on our
Maureen.
show, and he's got to work it out in therapy. It's terrible.
Wife Maureen brought a little H2O, saw me finishing
Yeah,
my one
thank
water
you.
bottle, and
Right.
and you.
And then you
here with
moved
three.
out of camera.
And then I moved. No, I think
because I
think I
came-
still might be on. I
No,
have
you're
no
not.
idea.
I'm looking at the screen. You're not on any.
Yeah, we're
Came
talking
here
to
and
an
Yeah.
invisible person.
Now, how come when Greg Chorvis is on,
don't you move back?
Greg Chorvis is on, you can see him in the seat? I don't know why that is, but I don't care. That's okay.
You're the host. I didn't mean
No,
to
no, I'm not.
displace
That's
you from the
okay.
table.
No,
Yeah.
I'm fine.
If,
I'm very happy.
Yeah, if John was over there, then it would be okay.
Tell me where to go. I will.
No. Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, seriously.
You want me to go?
No, stay wherever we are.
You had
Yeah,
no
that's
problem
true.
telling me
Yeah.
where to go.
No. You're good. You're good. Leave
Come on,
it the
come
way it
on,
is.
come on. No, you gotta get in
We
there.
know
Do this.
Tony's
Okay.
face.
All right.
We
I'll
know
do this. I'll
Tony's
make you
face.
guys.
And there he is.
All right. I'm here.
It's
You know,
himself.
I'm here.
I spent my whole life trying to stay away from negative people.
I know.
Now I'm trying to stay away
I
from
get-
positive
Yeah,
people.
no.
There you go.
So let's talk about the bank is doing well.
Bank is doing well. We're celebrating our 170th anniversary
something?
this year.
Right.
And so
Your
I think-
second pandemic as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Bill may have mentioned some of the things we're doing this
Yeah,
year, and
yeah.
so we're doing some cool stuff.
Yeah,
And
very community focused and much like Mid Hudson Valley.
absolutely, we're
Federal
very
Credit Union.
similar.
We were blessed.
Similar in size, similar.
And we throw Rondad in there too, obviously.
100%.
These are three local institutions. We'll put in Bill Corby's Ulster Federal Credit Union, and we're blessed to have
Sawyer Savings, you're
Sawyer
getting dangerous
Savings.
now. Leaving
Well,
the building.
I would
Yeah.
mention the four of you because you also underwrite KCR. Nothing against Sawyer Savings.
Yeah, yeah.
We love them. They're nice people, great people.
There's an opening still for them.
There is an opening for them.
There's an
There's an
underwrite, yeah.
underwriting opening for them, and but thank you for supporting KCR and the community. There's a lot. Look, Catskill, Hudson, there's a lot of
Sure.
local banks. But
And what was great when pandemic started? Many of the banks just started communicating and saying, "Look,
Yeah.
this is not about competition. This is about taking care of people." When
Right.
PPP came out, when we were closing lobbies for periods of time,
Mm-hmm.
and we were kind of all saying, "Let's do this together. Let's not try to one up each other." And I think that speaks volumes. I had a question the other day, something that we were doing, and somebody said, "Well, how are we going to find out?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'll call Cheryl at Rondout, and I'll find out." And
Yeah.
so I called Cheryl, and we figured it out right away.
Yeah.
And so there's plenty of business right now to go
There is.
around, and
There
there's
is.
no reason for people to be
Yeah.
undercutting
Yeah.
each other. We all do good stuff.
now,
and it's-
I've found that very impressive at the start. I know that Ulster Savings was a big player. There was discussion of sharing a branch if need be,
Yeah,
and everything
right.
was closed.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's that way everywhere.
yeah,
Well,
I'm sure it's not.
It's not, but there's certain
it's not.
businesses you go into. If you go into an airport, all of the rental cars are next to each other.
That's
all
right.
the different businesses. Why can't banks
Right.
share, common space? And if you want to bank with Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union, you do. And those are kind of things that as time goes on, I think, and the need for huge branches shrink. I think you'll see more of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think, also the fact, obviously, that the priority was serving the people
Right,
in the area.
right,
It
right.
wasn't,
Serving
everything
the
else is
customer.
put aside.
Right.
That
What a
became the number
novel
one
idea.
priority,
Yeah. Serve
and it
the
became a how do we do this, not
Right.
can we do it better than someone else.
Yeah.
John, I'm curious about your take on, because I know you dabble in real estate as well, maybe more than dabble, I'm not exactly
Well,
sure. Dabble, what's better than more than dabble?
Dribble? I don't know.
Drip, I knew that was coming.
yeah.
He's apparently hit the D section in the dictionary.
Yeah. He's only up to
Oh,
D, though.
Lord,
At his
I
age, he's
love
got to
this.
speed that up.
This
don't
is
you?
really good.
He said that, and I got so mad. The first thing I thought was pivot,
Pivot.
I saw the deer in the headlights again.
and thought pivot.
What is your take on, what's happened, how it's happened? You put a house in the market and it's
Yeah.
maybe gone in a week if it's priced right, and there
Yeah.
might be even a bidding war. What's happened?
So I'll
How
tell
did it
you,
happen?
my experience, I am actually a licensed broker in New York State. I have my real estate license. I don't do much of it because I don't have time to do it with the
Right.
bank. But my wife Maureen
she does it a
works
lot.
under my license,
Right.
and that's what she does, right? She does it full time. And it was my dad's business and his
Right.
father's business, so it's
Wow.
kind of
Oh,
cool.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I watch her, and it's a great time to be a realtor, and it's also a very frustrating time to be a realtor, because what happens is she has a lot of customers, some local, some from Brooklyn, that are looking for houses. She'll send them houses that meet the criteria on a Thursday, let's say, and they'll say, great, we can come up on Saturday. Well, by Saturday, there may not be appointments available because every half hour for 12 hours of the day they're booked, which is what happened to her last weekend. And if you can get in, by Sunday, there are 15 offers on the house. Yeah. And in many cases, in one recent case, $60,000 more than asking prices.
Holy cannoli.
And this is the sad part for first-time home buyers, and maybe you're seeing some of this too. If you're not a cash buyer, it's very difficult to be in the mix, because houses have to appraise for banks. We have to protect ourselves and credit unions. And if somebody's paying cash, that's not really an issue. So as a seller, if you have a cash buyer and you have
so when you say cash, you mean a cash buyer means no mortgage with a bank.
No mortgage with a bank. And right now, people have, this pandemic has been bizarre.
It's staggering to me that somebody would be able to drop down $300,000.
Well, if it's people in Brooklyn, for instance, most of the houses here, even though that they've gone up quite a bit, is nothing compared to what they're paying there or in Westchester.
Right.
No, I think the pandemic has driven the divide even wider of people that have savings and don't. If you're lucky enough that your job hasn't changed and you haven't gone on trips and you haven't been going out to restaurants, you're seeing a lot of deposits going way up in banks and credit unions too. And so people have the money. Even if they plan to get a mortgage, a lot of people are buying it for cash because they know they'll have a leg up on the transaction, and then coming in and mortgaging afterwards. So it's tough for my wife has a couple moving back from the Midwest, they grew up here, want to move back, and they just keep getting priced out of house after house after house, and they're making great offers.
You got to keep going north, I guess, right? I mean, who knows?
Yes, but even that,
Columbia County, Greene County is well. That they were kind of popular places previously. I know my cousins lived there up in Athens, and he's a retired police from New York City. George, and there's a lot of retirees, civil service workers up there that they're kind of in a conclave. There's around some lake up there.
Right. Yeah.
Up in Athens, it's a man-made lake. It's a great, but all firefighters, police that moved up there, and so. But now people, saying, "Oh, Ulster County prices are getting, Dutchess County prices high. Let's go up Columbia County, Greene County."
There's a lot of that, yeah.
And maybe even out west more. Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy time.
And I would imagine now, on the real estate end of it, if you don't have a pre-authorization.
Oh, forget it, yeah.
I mean, you absolutely have to. Where years ago, they'd ask you to get it, but they'd start the search. But I think that's over too.
Yeah.
Right, and if you were buying cash, they want to know proof of funds, whether it be an investment statement.
I'll tell a little quick story. I don't think it's a tale out of school. And Leanne's son, Vincent, 28-year-old young man, is trying to buy a house. Tried to buy a house before the pandemic. He's just started. He got pre-qualified, and now if he wanted to make up a story, $200,000 in a house, you can't find them, or they're like a 12 by 15 shed.
Right.
I mean,
it is amazing. It is amazing.
And so
one of the alternatives that I noticed that people are doing more and more now is buying modular homes and get as much as they can, because the price of the modular home is the price. It doesn't go up and down with the market.
Right.
We haven't seen as much here, but I know it's coming. A lot of building for exactly that reason. There's no inventory, and buy some land and but.
That'll catch up.
Price per acre.
Correct. That is already happening.
Starting to jump up. So
it's a challenging time for buyers for sure. It's a nice time if you're selling.
Yeah.
But people say, I'm going to put my house on the market.
Well, let's talk
you got to go somewhere,
that.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Where are you going? You're going to Tennessee? Are you going to Georgia, North Carolina?
Yeah.
You're going to cash out of New York State
and
get your number and beat feet at South.
And because of what's going on, all of a sudden, people couldn't do it ever before. Now they can keep their job and move to Tennessee.
That is true.
Correct.
That is true.
So everything's changing. Right.
So it's an interesting.
You have a big house. The people could come live with you if they sell their house and cash out.
I was looking to maybe have.
They'll never get by the gate.
A village of I have 2 lions at the end of my driveway. Village of Italians that could live in my house. There's not a problem.
Right.
You know,
It has to be exclusively Italian.
Right.
I'm half Irish. I could what? I could live there half the
you
time.
could. You you get Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You know, that's your time.
Nice.
Like gas rationing. Who's old enough to remember gas rationing?
Oh, everybody.
I do, yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
in the room.
Everybody.
Everybody in the room, right?
Yeah.
We've established that.
Yeah, but you weren't driving during gas rationing.
No, yeah, right.
Yeah.
I hit the big 6-0 this year. So
Yeah, he was driving in. Yeah. So
I was driving, it just wasn't legal.
Right, that's right.
No, I had to. My dad was a driving teacher. So
We were talking about people's comfort level with, the vaccination and people, having had COVID and having the antibodies and so at some point, is there going to be a comfort level with folks, being together in some bigger
Right.
numbers? I mean, I wouldn't step foot in Yankee Stadium this year, maybe. Well, there's 2,000 people that they put in there.
that's probably a bad example because you
Probably-
would go to. You
I-
would.
I
I
go
was
would.
to-
saying,
Probably
they
right,
finally
right.
got
Probably
Cooper,
would.
now they got all the pitching.
Talk about a wedding.
I'd
You-
go.
You're not going to a wedding.
You
man.
know, I would, and I'm going to get my distemper shot today, actually. So I'm
Tell you,
I'm okay.
It's due.
But there's been a little bit of confusion about the vaccination stuff, and
Yeah.
it changed the rules seemingly this week for folks older than 65 that were previously in the big pool,
Yeah.
but kind of singled out, right?
Yeah, and maybe when Lisa comes on, you can check with her on that. I'm not sure if she's still close enough.
She's doing tourism. I'm
to-
not
I know,
sure
yeah,
she's
yeah.
doing Vaccinations.
But you'd be surprised. Somebody like Lisa knows everything about everything. But I don't, maybe somebody listening that knows the answer could clarify. But this week they opened up slots at SUNY Ulster. I think 3,000 of them. The Freeman's reporting this morning, and we found out about it and helped some friends register. And clearly, the website indicated that when you go through the registration process, one of the things was, please read this and certify that you meet one of these criteria. Right. One was if you're over 65, or, big or, you are a member of the police, fire,
Essential
EMS,
worker.
essential worker, or you, not just an essential worker, because banks, for instance, and credit unions
right.
were
First
essential,
responder
were
kinda.
essential workers during the first
Definition
during
of
the
it.
definition of it,
Yeah.
but are not in the definition now to get a vaccine.
Right.
The third was if you are under 65, but you have a comorbid condition, as you mentioned earlier.
Right.
And so I have two friends that are type 1 diabetics and on insulin pumps and help them to get appointments for today. Well, last night they canceled anyone under 65 years old, and so that was kind of a shock for a lot of people because that's not what the website said.
Yeah.
And,
Now, did they have so much response that they?
no, because
that
they only
wasn't-
filled up. They only filled up as many slots as they had.
Right.
They went in, and someone at some point later in the afternoon yesterday went in and said, "This person's not 65. Cancel them. Cancel them. Cancel them." But that is not what the criteria was on the website.
I
So-
think, and I heard County Executive Ryan on this topic.
did?
I did, but yesterday I think it was. And for whatever reason, and I don't know if this came down from whoever they got the vaccines from, but it said this group of vaccinations, and I think we got 3,500 in the county, give or take, and the pharmacies distributed it around, got another 3,500, about 7,000. I thought the Freeman might have reported. But it was specifically for over 65 population.
Yeah, so
And
it was an error, and people make mistakes. I mean, there's
Yeah.
no question. I understand that the county has to protect itself because I
Right.
know there have been some municipalities that have lost their rights to give vaccines for periods of
Is that
time
right?
They didn't
because
follow
they didn't follow the rules.
guidelines,
Right, and
yeah.
so they're punishing the populations in the community.
Yeah.
Which
This
is
I'll
kind of
tell you,
ridiculous.
it's
but-
what I call, the pandemic was, there was a whole bunch of angst. Is that a good word? Angst?
It is.
Angst. I'm not sure how you spell
You
it,
are-
but
you
I'm just
are
going to say it.
just-
But now I'm calling this, vaccine anxiety.
Sure.
There's people that are flipping, and I don't blame them at some level, because they can't get the vaccine. They want to get the vaccine. So we've created this whole, groundswell of additional worrying about my vaccine.
Right.
So I know 83-year-old Rotarian in Highland, a friend of mine, she's like, I can't sleep. I can't, it's keeping me up awake. I'm concerned. I want to get the vaccine. So this is, on top of all the other nonsense we're dealing with.
What I'm not sure, what's happening to, I know 15 people myself that signed up, that met the criteria as per the website, but were canceled. What is happening to them? If I were 83 years old and I didn't have an appointment, I would go to SUNY Ulster today and see if I can take one of the. Oh, she did. Okay.
Because she's in this over 65 batch.
Yeah. I don't know.
Healthy.
I don't know what's going to happen to those.
Yeah.
vaccines.
Well, I think eventually, hopefully, now the Johnson & Johnson, I think Moderna and Pfizer are ramping up in a big way. They should be producing this stuff 24/7.
It'll happen quickly now. I do believe with the third, it'll happen quickly.
Yeah, there's going to be hopefully millions of doses. And Pat Ryan said that, I thought I heard him say the county could do, it's a huge number of people a week based on the Kate Walton Fieldhouse. And
Well, this edition at SUNY Ulster is something that they pivoted on quickly.
Oh, no kidding.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Right, quickly.
Here's the word.
Because and you got to give them credit for that. It's not easy to do that.
Yeah.
But if you get 7,000 instead of 1,000, you got to move quickly, and
as
they
somebody
did.
who's in the staffing business, I find it amazing because I think there's a lot of volunteers doing it, putting the person power together to get this stuff done. I mean, it doesn't happen overnight.
Sure.
And so where are all these people coming from? I can't wait to see.
There was a problem, at least initially, with enough people to actually do the vaccination, right? So now, not only is the new one that came out not 2-dose, but apparently you don't have to. You keep it in a regular refrigerator.
Yes, right.
So
it doesn't have to
logistically, it's
be,
got
frozen or whatever.
logistically, it's going to be much. I think it's a real game changer.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
Yeah, so we'll see. But thank you for coming on. We have about a minute. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'm afraid. I was just going to say, I'm afraid the half hour is going to end before I thank all the great employees of Ulster Savings Bank who, through this pandemic, like many of the financial institutions locally, they've been there. They had to be there. They're essential workers, but not the essential workers that you would normally think of. But they've been there. They've worked from home. They worked in the office. They've done a phenomenal job. They constantly get out and help organizations in the community, and I want to thank them for
Great.
all of that.
All right, John Finch, Ulster Savings Bank, thank you for what you do every day for the community. Thanks to the bank for supporting KCR, and say hi to everybody out there.
Will do. Thanks for letting me be here.
Okay.
Have a great day.
All the best. Take it away, Dan.
Thank you, Tony, and thank you, Guy Greco, and a very, very special thanks to our guest this quarter, John Finch from Ulster Savings Bank. It's now at the bottom of the hour, and you're with us on Kingston Community Radio, KCR, AM 920 and 92.5 FM WGHQ. Thursday, March 4th, 37 degrees here in Uptown Kingston. This last portion of Kingston Community Radio has been brought to you by Rondout Savings Bank. Long history of serving local communities and maintaining a strong tradition of customer service excellence while providing each customer with the personal attention they deserve. Rondout Savings, always working for you and the community with branches in Kingston, West Hurley, and Hyde Park. Also online at rondoutbank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Mid-Hudson Valley weather and forecast today. Cloudy early, then mostly sunny this afternoon. A few flurries possible this morning with a high of 39 in the morning, then dropping into the low 30s later. And tonight, mostly clear, a low of 18. And Friday, some clouds in the morning, then mainly sunny for the rest of the day. A high up to 33 Friday. And Friday night, mostly cloudy, a low down to 21. And Saturday, partly cloudy with a high of 31. Saturday night, a few clouds, low of 19. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Never completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
For your teen's music taste.
For dinners, where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you Mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
My name is Hunter Hayes. and I know my buzzed warning signs. When I know I'm going out, I know I'm going to start with calling for a ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Shirley Stabe from Kingston, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
And we're back. You're with us here at KCR, Kingston Community Radio, WGHQ 920 on your AM dial, 92.5 FM, and streaming online at mykcr.org. 331-9255 is the call-in number. It's your number to call in, 331-9255. And let's get back to the on-air studio now with Tony Marmo, Guy Greco, and our new guest. Welcome back.
All right, we're back, folks. This has been a great Thunder Thursday show, and it's been terrific.
I can't follow it. I just can't.
This
What
is
sound effect can I
this
do
is
to
Tony
follow
Marmo.
He cracks himself up.
Does indeed.
I know.
Does indeed.
Oh my
And
God!
endlessly entertained by his own.
No. It's just it's fun.
It is fun.
It's fun. Till the daddy took the T-bird away.
So who was this across the table?
Oh yeah, we're with. You didn't introduce yourself, Buddy Guy. Buddy Guy was a drummer or was he a guitar player? Okay, so that's you.
I don't even know if it was. He might still be around. He might have passed away. He had a polka dot Stratocaster. He's a blues player.
Blues player. So right up your alley.
Again, with the up my alley.
All right. He's a bowler.
I don't know what's going on here. I missed
We're joined
that
by
part.
Lisa. Lisa Berger's joining us and brings some sanity to this show.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Lisa, the director of the Ulster County Tourism. How are you today?
I'm good. Everything's good in
Well,
Ulster.
Yeah, it's everything is good. I like that. See,
And what an interesting
Optimism.
time to be doing tourism, to be in charge
Good
of
for
tourism.
you.
It is. It is an interesting time, but you know,
What Confucius said, by the way, about 3,000 years
it's
ago.
an interesting time to be alive.
An interesting time.
Times, it's very true. He did say that, and interestingly, nothing's changed.
Very Confucius. All right. So anyway, tell us why are you so upbeat and thinking that everything is good?
Well, because I have, there's a lot that's new that's going to be coming online in Ulster County. But beyond that, I think really, I heard you guys touching on the shot issue and the confusion around who can get them and who can't. That's true, but people are getting shots. And the more people that get shots, the more we can be together, the more that we can open up. The state yesterday said that live theaters that are under 500 people can go to 33% capacity starting in the beginning of April.
And that's statewide.
It's statewide, and that's huge. I mean, that really is huge because honestly, like, you know, playhouses, theaters, comedy clubs, music venues, they play. It's just put you out of work for more than a year.
How many times he's been on the ledge? He's been right on the ledge of and looking down like 10 stories to say, if I can't play music again.
It's really,
Right?
it's
I mean,
more
I know.
devastating. Unless you do it, it's more devastating than you can imagine. So at that capacity, you could have 500 people at UPAC, for instance.
Yeah.
So here's the initial start, up to 100, and then they're going to reevaluate.
Oh, I see. So it's not a third capacity
33%, or up to 100.
So if you got a 300 capacity joint,
You can do,
you're okay.
but it's better than nothing. Hey,
Diamond Mills has got a-
this is also why I'm upbeat.
Best Western.
Yeah.
I went to Bearsville Theater this week.
I haven't seen the redo.
my
It's got to
God,
be
you've
gorgeous
got
from what
to
I've seen
see it.
A video that John
Nice.
Sebastian did recently.
Oh, yeah?
He's been very kind, and they
Yeah.
they put more than $1 million. Lizzie Van did into renovating this and really restoring it and kind of changing it a little because really
It's a gem.
Grossman's like vision had been to play only to the industry, right?
Right.
And
He wanted the restaurants,
Right.
everything, the studio, everything
Right.
was there to make a small community, kind of like Henry Ford did.
Yeah.
A retreat 90 miles from New York City where it was a great concept.
Exactly.
I don't know if it ever fulfilled his vision.
I don't think it ever
Yeah.
did. And then it went through all these different derivations, right? So she came in, she poured $1 million into it, everything from shoring up the foundation, which was like being eroded by water, to actually restoring the gem of what that place is supposed to be. And you've got to walk through, because the heart of it, this is what I said to them: you have renovated this place and kept its soul. You know how unusual that is?
Yeah, it is.
To renovate someplace and still feel like you're in a music venue where actual working musicians,
played there, Guy?
artists.
I love playing at Bearsville. I love playing at the Bearsville Theater. Matter of fact, I did a gig there with Stuffy is what they called it, and Parker Brothers. It was called the Parker Brothers Extravaganza, something like that. And there was
Didn't they
Stuff
make the
was there. There was
Monopoly
a bunch-
game?
That's right. They're not playing the games. That's the Parker Brothers. And they
So people watch them play.
From their dad and the three brothers all brought their bands there, and Tony was playing Exit 19 with us. So we got to play there, and it was filmed by, I think, Woodstock Films was doing a documentary. So they included some of the footage there. But acoustically there, somebody
That's what I was gonna ask
recorded it
about.
with a small SD card recorder in the back of the room. And
it was-
acoustically, you could
it's
hear
just-
every note that everybody played on the stage.
Yeah.
And that's not happening a lot.
Interesting.
You know, and they spoke a little bit about that with me when I was there, and about the size of the stage and how it can
Stage is great.
right, and because it was designed for the artists, the whole thing was designed for the musicians, for the people who were going to be in there, and industry insiders, so that they could really hear what this band, what this music was about, and then develop it further. And so it was a unique concept, and they're ready to bring it back. They've done. I'm sure if you saw the video, you saw that, like, the bar area and everything they brought back. They
Where can
like-
you see the video if you wanted to see it?
Where did you see John Sebastian's video? I didn't see that. They said that John has been.
I think somebody had sent it to me on Facebook. I'm sure you can Google it.
Okay.
I'll try to look for it and send it to you.
Dan Gatus, you have something on your mind? You look like you have a pregnant
Yeah, I was
thought.
just there yesterday, and one of the most beautiful things that you can, because I was there with at WDST, they're moving out.
Yeah.
One of the most amazing things about that whole complex is the exteriors of all the buildings are very, very recognizable as part of the community, you know, the building complex. But one of the most incredible things is how in touch you are with the grounds, with all the grounds and woods, and you wouldn't even know how much parking there is.
Right. Yeah.
At the same
It's
time,
very
it's an
diffuse.
incredible.
It's all over
it's
the
a
joint,
magical
right?
place. It really is magical
Yeah.
place.
It is.
Are the restaurants still open there?
Just going to ask
They,
that.
they opened.
I don't know.
They opened one. They,
Little Bear or the Bear?
I think it was formerly the Little
one that's
Bear.
near the
It's the
creek?
one.
What's
It's
the
no.
one-
It's
the
the
Chinese. It used to be a
No,
Chinese
it's the one
restaurant.
closest to the road. That's the Little Bear, not the Bear Cafe.
Okay.
The Bear Cafe was the one that's beautiful, that the creek runs alongside it, and you're sitting there and you're like, oh gosh, this is the most beautiful
Oh, I
place
see
I've
now.
ever
I
been
thought
in.
that. I thought it was the
yeah.
opposite of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then the other one was a
was
pretty
Chinese.
big restaurant. It was very big. With
Right.
Big bar area
Right.
and all. So.
Yeah. Interesting.
I think that they're doing the pieces that they can, but you know, their murals on the wall. She put back up all the pictures of the artists that have played there or that touched touched
See
Grossman
Guy,
in some.
Guy Greco's picture in there?
I think I did.
I'm sure it's not there, and if it was, it'd be way down the list. And why?
We were
Why must you continue to do
in
this?
Woodstock. I want to say maybe 3 weeks ago now, and there was a lot. It was a beautiful day. A lot of people walking around. We went to the place right next to the Mud Cafe, which is they had little fire pits going there.
Yeah, that has beer,
Yeah.
Craft beer. I can't
Yeah.
think of the name right now,
Yeah, I
but
can't
that
even
looks
off my head,
great.
but it was great. I mean, it was a lot of. I think a lot of energy. You know, people just they look like New York City people. What do New York City people look like? I'm not sure.
I was gonna
But-
ask.
No, I'm not sure. But you know me, I always ask. You know, where are you from?
Yeah.
You know, I just never. And Leanne says, "Can you just go someplace and not talk to somebody?"
And
No, I
not ask
cannot.
somebody where they're
No.
from.
I said, "Well, if you put a gag in my mouth, I would probably not be able to
Mask.
talk."
Please don't think of it as a gag,
Well-
Tony. or really, maybe the rest
You
of us
just
should.
shouted from one fire pit to the other. Hey, where are you from?
It's yo,
Yo, where you from? Where's your crib? Anyway, so you're up on you're positive, optimistic about weather, vaccinations.
That's how I feel about it. I think that what's happening is that we're going to get people are going to take these shots. It doesn't feel to me like people are resisting the shots. And just based on even the conversation you had before I came in here, I know a dozen people myself who are chasing shots, like across the state, wherever they can find one,
Down
right?
to New York City.
Right.
I know somebody
Right.
went to Jacob Javits Center.
Right.
No, I know.
Right.
Potsdam is not on anybody's list, though. I have
God,
to tell
who
you.
wants to go to
Anybody
Potsdam?
can go to Potsdam.
I don't want to go to Potsdam. I don't want to go to Potsdam.
I mean, you'd have to live there for like
Potsdam.
Yeah, Potsdam. There's always openings.
Not really sure where it is.
Where the
either.
hell is it? It's not far from the Canadian border, by the way.
Oh, is that right?
Oh yeah, it's up in
I was
Timbuktu.
connected with FDR. Potsdam.
Yeah. So,
No, but
well, that's good. I mean,
I definitely think that that's what's going on. And then the other thing that I would say is that people really want to do something. They want to get away. They need a break still.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
But nobody wants to jump on a plane right now. They still, even once they're inoculated, fully
I don't
inoculated,
either.
people
I don't
are.
think I want
No? Yeah, I don't think I do. Sit in a plane
we're
for 5
thinking about
hours.
a vacation. Obviously, a lot of people have.
Yeah.
And we're thinking about a vacation. We're going on vacation with another couple. And for me, it was like, all right, so the resort's cool. I can wrap my head around that. But although there's people from all over the world there, which gives me pause.
Yeah.
But the plane, going down to JFK and getting on that plane is,
I don't know. I think
I'm sure in a couple
I
months
get
I'll be
that.
fine with it. But if I had to do it today, I'd have to give it some thought.
That is how most travelers feel right now. They're reluctant to do that.
But you give it 3 more months and 3 more months of vaccinations, 3 more months of, the warm weather's coming, 3 more. I think what are we in March? I'm going to say by July 1, middle of June, I think, in 2 or 3 shows, Guy, I think we're going to have a different attitude. I really do. I got to split, I'm sorry. But you guys can talk about a myriad of things. Myriad.
When you leave the room, what
I'm
we're going to talk about
is
I'm gonna listen. No, don't talk too much because I'm going to listen, and I'm going to call 331-9255.
Well, it'd be about time somebody called.
You're on. You're on.
All right. Thank you, folks,
All right,
very much.
bye.
See you. Bye.
Good to see you.
So long, Tony. I'll see you, brother.
Bye.
So tell me about, once the weather, I think it's a big deal that the weather breaks for us.
Yes.
So what is it that people would come here to see?
Well, we have, in addition to making sure that they go to Bearsville and catch
Yeah.
a show, because people have to do that, it really deserves the support of people, and they have to experience it. So there, I'm
And that's
giving
it.
a
And it really
shameless
is. It's something to
plug for them.
experience.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's a great club.
And, we have some new accommodations that are going to be opening up. So Hotel Kinsley opened 41 Pearl.
Now, where is that? Oh, 41 Pearl.
41 Pearl, and then down on the Rondout waterfront, Hutton Brickyard expects to be open by May 1. They've put in these little cabins, about 800 square feet. They all face the water, all glass front. They're really
great.
spectacular.
And what is there? Is that going to be an entertainment venue as well?
They have space there, so a very high-end hotel interest called Salt Properties bought Hutton Brickyards. So what he's going to try to do right away is get the accommodation portion open and a restaurant on site. So this year they don't know, are they going to be able to do events? Are they going to have music there?
Isn't that what they had that big Dylan show there?
It
Is that right?
It is, and it's a perfect place for it. So there's hope that they'll be able to do at least a couple of those too. That's a beautiful spot. I mean, their vision
Sure.
is to do that
And
long
did they
term.
purchase this pre-pandemic or?
They did. They did it pre-pandemic, and they've been working on it. I mean, I feel for these people who bought these kind of hospitality or tourism businesses, and then COVID hit, and that's what happened with Bearsville. They were ready to open.
I know.
You were ready to open, and boom, it got shut down. So I feel good about the new things that are coming on. Then we have some things that have always kind of been there. Where it comes to accommodations, Minnewaska Lodge in New Paltz Gardner area is refreshing their rooms or refreshing their whole approach. They're really moving towards that wellness outdoor experience. Like that's what they're going to embrace there. And that I think is going to be really big for visitors to that area.
As well. Do you believe there's a pent-up demand, like I believe, that people are really, I mean, it's not just going to be okay, it's going to be really, I don't know, it's going to be exponentially better than it was last year, I would guess. But
what I'm hoping for is that we're able to get our restaurants and our venues and our venues, like our theaters, our music places, if we can get those open fully. If we can get them fully open, we're going to have a great season, because I think there is, just like you, I think there's pent-up demand out there. People want to travel. They do not want to get on a plane.
That's right.
So it's the summer of the Great American Road Trip.
Yeah.
And I think that people, and there's a certain amount of nostalgia right now for the Catskills. Like, you see it in a lot of things. And I think it could be a great season for us. We just need to keep going.
I really hope it is. Yeah, there's any number of things to see here. I'm just happy. You know, it's all of a sudden, everything became, for us, everything became dependent on weather here, right? So the people that were just staying afloat by having outdoor dining,
right?
You know, which is a small percentage of what they would normally do.
Right.
And then, the winter's been
brutal.
It's
been a hard one. We haven't had one like this in probably 8 or 10 years, right?
Right. It's
been a throwback
perfect time.
Yeah, it's been really hard.
Earlier today we started, and I'm going to continue the tradition, when something really tragic happens, you have to think and say out loud, pivot. Which is going to take some getting used to for me. That's not the first word that comes to mind.
But I will say to you that is one thing that I have noticed, especially about the hospitality industry, that in this year, so many of Ulster County's businesses have just been innovative and forward thinking. Like that, pivot is so irritating a word now, and everybody's like pivot. But
sounds froggish.
Exactly. But on the other hand, people here have been really creative, and they've been on their feet, and they've been forward thinking, and those people have learned lessons in this that they'll take with them.
Listen, if you can survive a global, a pandemic, I don't have to keep saying global, which is what the word means. If you can survive this, in business in a small community like Kingston, where you don't have millions of people to draw from, I don't know. You gotta believe you can survive anything after this.
Absolutely.
The people that were hanging on that didn't make it are the ones that bothers me. That may have just gone into business, like we just discussed, but don't have the wherewithal or the funds to maintain it for a year.
It's been awful.
Tough.
It really has been. And even the ones who are businesses that have been here long term, they're suffering. We can't diminish how much pain they've gone through this year and how much they've suffered. And so we really need to, as we come out of this, make sure that we bring the visitors here, that we encourage people who are even here to go back and do some of the things they haven't done.
That's right.
Once people are fully inoculated, once the weather is better, do all the things that you were afraid to do.
That's right. And not just all the people that will be coming here for the tourism. Elliot Auerbach was the first guest today. He was a wonderful guest. And one of the things he talked about is how sales tax revenue has gone up, actually, for some places, because just a year ago, New York started charging sales tax on the internet, which is fantastic.
It's true.
But we need to keep our dollars local.
Absolutely.
We need that revenue here, not just for sales tax and to keep things going, but for the people that own the businesses and the waitresses and the waiters who were, let's face it, those jobs are tip dependent. Nobody's doing it for the salary, and they've got, they've had nothing for a year. And yet, there they are.
Right, and they're still doing it. They're still serving us. Right. They're still making good food.
I think it's with a smile. The mask, maybe it's not at all, but it seems to be still done with a smile.
Not really. No, I agree with you completely about all of that. You're 100%. You're 100% right. And then the other thing that I think too is, let's not forget that this also gave us an opportunity to reconnect with some of our other roots, experiences that maybe you and I had as a kid. Last summer, I saw more kids out with with a family member fishing than I've seen in about 20 years. I saw more people riding bikes. And this is kind of these are the things that we learned to do growing up here that connected us to the land and made us want to stay here, right?
Yeah,
so
that's right.
I am a big supporter of, like, if you don't have a bike, go get one right now, because you're going to want to ride a bike this summer.
And if you can, you should get them right now if they're available. My wife and I wanted to get bikes. There was none to be found.
I know.
You just couldn't find them.
That's why I'm saying get it now.
Yeah.
Get your bike now.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I should do
Get your bike now. Learn how to
Listen, Peloton's probably great in front of your TV, but let's do the real thing.
Exactly. Let's go somewhere. That's me. I actually want to go somewhere. I don't want to be in front of the TV. I know they do the videos and everything, but I'd like to be able to.
Once you can, you got to get out there.
Exactly.
I say that like I'm going to do it. It's not happening. It should happen.
All right. Well, then make sure you get a fishing pole and just cast a little.
All I want to do is I just want to play guitar in front of people.
And I think you're going to do that.
I'm going to, if they want me to or not.
No, I think you're going to do. I think you're going to do it before you think it. I mean, I really do. I really
musicians and all entertainment people are it's so hard to get across to people who don't, because the concept of it, and it gave me pause. I had enough time to think about it. So I've spent my entire life learning to be better on my instrument, learning the instrument, building up my chop and learning to play. And it turns out, even though I have a little recording studio in my home, none of it is any good to me unless somebody's watching me do it. How odd is that for an industry? But it is, the whole industry is that way.
You know what? I completely understand that. I do, because there's a certain energy that you get, even if it's only one person sitting there watching.
All about that feedback, that real-time feedback.
Yeah.
And it's not just, music. I'm sure jugglers are not standing in their living room juggling. That's not the point for them. They've done that.
Exactly.
They need somebody to watch them juggle.
Exactly.
Plus that, bowling ball and chainsaw thing that they're doing is probably not as good in your living room as it would be at a venue outside.
If you miss it.
Right. Might go through your nephew, never mind the floor.
That's so funny.
And I'm sure there's other industries like that. It's just that I'm so close to this one. And I was saying to Tony earlier, you forget, because he said something about one of the bands I was in, and it's 7 guys. They're not going to together in a small room. 7 guys at this point.
That's the problem. That's exactly the problem. You can't. It's really difficult. And I know some artists have kind of done their pieces in studios and then shipped it to each other.
Transition to internet.
But it's hard to.
It is hard
to make all that work, right? Because you're not able to respond in real time to whatever happened.
That's exactly it, Lisa. You don't get that instantaneous feedback. And certain rooms and crowds have a certain feel to them, and other rooms crowds are different. Getting the crowd to respond and knowing where they're going to respond, or just sometimes it's corny as it sounds. Sometimes you share a moment with them, a crowd, right?
Yeah,
and it becomes very intimate, regardless of the size of the crowd. It becomes very intimate, and then that moment's gone. But everybody shared it.
Right.
It's. God, that sounds so silly to say out loud, but there it is.
No, one of the very last things I did before it was all shut down, I looked at these pictures when they came up on my memories, is I saw the Eagles last year in February, on February 13th at Madison Square Garden at their sold-out show. And I looked at those pictures and I was like, God, was it only a year ago? And what a fantastic night that was.
No one knows for sure, but how far are we from people being comfortable and how many people is Madison Square Garden?
Oh, it was
that many people in a building.
Standing room only.
I don't know when everybody will feel comfortable enough to do that.
Not for a long time.
Yeah.
Not for a long time. Yeah. But that was one of the very last things that I did before.
Now, is there anything, I don't know if you noticed, but is there anything you want to plug? I'm not rushing you, but if there's anything you want to plug or say?
Not a thing. I think that other than, we have lots of things that people can take advantage of who are local. So if
Tony Marmo, I think people should take advantage of Tony as often as possible.
It's a great institution.
Yes,
I agree.
Yes, you're right, Dan. He should be in an institution.
I agree.
No, I didn't say that.
You were thinking it, though, Dan. I can see it. on your face.
I guess that's where it came from.
Just if people are looking for things to do, they can go to our website, Ulster County Alive. We have a calendar of events. We have lots of ideas for people to do things. So locally, go to that website,
UlsterCountyAlive.com,
and come, and plan something for when the weather's better. But
and it's getting better soon. You can feel it. You can feel the change. I heard geese this morning when I went to go to my truck.
Did you really? So the next thing that happens is the maple sugar starts to run through the tree.
No, the next thing is goose poop.
Goose poop.
Yeah, on golf courses and everywhere else. But then after that, the sugar in the trees.
Poop. I can't.
Yeah, you're right, Lisa. All the trees that people are tapping are all rigged up.
Right.
They're all rigged up right now. Yeah.
Sure sign.
Right. That is a sign that spring is on the way and that we will all soon be able to get outside. So thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming in. This is
fun.
great.
I had a good time.
Yeah, about another half minute or so.
Another half minute.
Another half minute.
Could you sing a song or something for that?
Go ahead.
No, I'm only going to say that that was a fantastic show.
It's a great show.
And Lisa, thanks for bringing in everything that Ulster County is doing.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having us. There's always something to look forward to.
Keep an eye on Ulster County Alive.
Yes. And next month, I will bring with me, not probably in studio, she's going to be calling in Gretchen Reed from Mohonk Preserve, and she will talk about all the programs that they have and that they've been operating, and what a great resource that is. So
yeah, what a long-established resource.
So next month we will have Gretchen with us.
All right, so we're going to break, and thanks for listening. If you're listening, Tony Marmo, thanks for leaving early. And we'll see you next time.
Okay, and thank you. We had Guy Greco here and Tony Marmo hosting, and many, many thanks to Elliot Auerbach, John Fish, and Lisa Berger for coming in today as our guests. And thank you for being with us today for this Thursday, March 3rd. It's 37 degrees right now here in Uptown Kingston as we move on through the day. And till tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., we wish you every success in growing and developing Kingston and all our neighboring communities. We now return you to Real Country Radio.
If I said you have